we got to talk about these two. You know, VortiX, no doubt about his return to form, looking like a dominant force right now. Numudan, it feels like forever since Red Bull Wololo Legacy. He's always been creeping in here or there, but he's never looked more consistently here to stay than now.
Yeah, it's a couple of breaks for Numudan between then and now, right? Some extended breaks for that matter, where he just vanished for months at a time, not playing a single game. Obviously, life gets in the way for all of us at different stages for one reason or another, but he's back. And as you mentioned, looking better than ever, I want to say. And he's going to look to put a stopper to the Spanish charging ball that is undoubtedly VortiX here in game number 1 between the two of them. Because we have Numudan spawning in the color green in the north side of the map, playing the Byzantines, one of his favorites, up against VortiX's Chinese, which I feel like I don't often see VortiX on Chinese.
No, it's not really his style. Then again, China in more recent times become an aggressive Civ, but historically this guy is always looking to send it. Now, what's interesting about Numudan, if the game goes deep enough, he'll cozy on down, but he's somewhat of an unbridled aggressor in the early game as well. Like, I've seen the way he's played Byzantines historically. It's not just all boom and chill. Admittedly, in this current meta, it usually is with most players. But this guy is capable of having a few peps in his step. Like, actually, if you listed the two civs that like Numudan feels most threatening on, I would actually list them as Byzantines and French.
Wait, did you just say French?
French, yeah. This guy is surprising on French, actually.
I would actually say China for Numudan.
You think China?
Yeah, he plays a disgustingly effective China. He knows full well how to hunker down and get the most out of that boosted economy. I'll say that much. It's quite impressive to watch, and yeah, you definitely don't want to play against it. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I've seen him actually leverage French against Chinese quite often to beat it. Like, it makes sense that he'd understand China that well and how to exploit them in the late game. Yeah, like for tempo and control, like he's quite formidable in these two civs. So, you know, VortiX, I'm curious to see which direction he's going to take us in. You know, probably still going to be pro scouts. A little bit of a wide spread on the deer locations as well. Can be good in some situations, but in the new decaying pro scouts meta, it does mean that you're going to miss out on a lot of extra food.
Very excited to see how similarly this will or will not go to the earlier game we saw in a similar matchup, admittedly. Jushi up against Byzantines. That was them against Poppypo. Won't spoil the result of that one for those who haven't seen it, but see what the crossover is as Numudan goes for the very greedy opening. We saw the 3 on stone, looking to rush those systems up ASAP, and you know, with 3 on stone, you're up to level 3, getting up to level 4 even before you finish the Grand Winery, which feels great, as long as there's not too many units in your base shortly after that, of course, which China can definitely do if they so choose. VortiX, is it just going to be pro scouts again?
I wonder if there's ever a world in which he just goes on the front deer and then just plays full aggro. Like, you know, I've seen 1 or 2 Chinese players experiment with it, but honestly, most just feel so safe with simply just massing up the gold and going pro scouts. Like, even after the nerfs, it's still a fairly lean and efficient build to lean towards.
The Quick Time Academy, as we're used to seeing from the Chinese finishing, rushing it with 5 villages, finishing very shortly after that 3-minute mark, and Numudan only now starting his age up. Quite a difference indeed in the opening for these two civilizations. VortiX likely to go up. I mean, there's 2 schools of thought when it comes to the Chinese opening here, especially when going pro scouts. Is some just go 1 or 2 officials to get that optimal pro scout timing ASAP, where some are willing to delay it slightly to get up to that 3rd and even 4th official and get that economy pumping straight away in exchange for a slightly slower timing but a way better pump earlier. We'll see which one VortiX opts for.
Yeah, I find like normally if you're looking to go just say free scouts, you're thinking you can control the meta and control the map. Whereas if you see someone go up to 7-8, they're like, nah, dude, I know you're going to be stronger than me. I just want to get what I've got and get back home safely. So, you know, it's why, for example, French, it's very rare to see French players go beyond about 4 scouts. Because the mentality is, I should control the map. Like, I am the bully. So why would I rush this greed and lose that aggression?
It's very true. And VortiX, the opening, I still don't get it. Even now, after the village cost decrease, why are people not going for the village? I mean, now he did, right? Sure. But why not just start with it? I can't understand this, frankly. Why people don't do this more often. And I'll end it there, I guess. I just want to put it out there. Go village, guys.
It's the safety, right? Like, if you... unless you know you're going to need a lot of people on gold, then it's, like, awkward, right? Because if you place your village on your gold, that's your safety point, where you maybe have 2 villages. So, for example, in this game, if VortiX is planned to go, say, mass wood into, like, archery and spam archers, it does kind of make sense to delay it and build the village there. Because you don't want to walk all the way out to the primary tree line to build a village straight away, right? Like, that's really inefficient. You want to do it when you move over. So I can kind of see a justification for it if he's not ham-fisting gold.
It is going to be the Pro Scouts, as we probably expected still, right? See, part of it is probably just comfort, right? This is just what's really good for China to do, what's really good for Jushi to do, what's really good for Rus to do. So they just keep going with it, even after the nerfs. Part of it might also just be that it might just still be the best way to go about it, right? It's inherently the Pro Scouts in and of itself that made these civs stand out more than they did before. Outside of perhaps Rus for that matter, they were always good for a long, long time now. But the truth is, getting that day supervised under that mill just feels so, so good, even if you have just less food overall than you did beforehand. So, VortiX just going to opt for that as before. We have seen Imperial Examinations now in queue for him as well. More boost to his economy than before, and he did opt for that 4 official opening, so his economy is looking stellar.
Yeah, Numu. We do have confirmation on the Western contract coming through. Just expected. Once you go Horseman, like, it feels like you're always getting Lombos. And to be honest, like, your main goal here is just try and get to Castle cleanly, I want to say. With a little bit of poke raid to slow down the Pro Scouts. So, with that in mind, it's very rare you see anyone invest in anything but Lombos, considering the value they have once they reach age.
That's right. You might want to maybe make a barracks and get a few Limitani out, just in case of Horseman from VortiX, which is on the menu for him. And of course, the very rapid transition to castlage that Chinese is notorious for means that often there's some lances that take you by surprise, so having a few spearmen never really hurts, Limitane for that matter. VortiX actually did steal one single day from Numudan on the right side, not a massive lead, but every little helps. That's going to be about 200 food additional for him, as the day lose about 150 food, thereabouts, give or take, depending on the distance, when you take an opponent today. So that's minus 50% almost, getting close to.
Yeah. And looking at the berry spread, right, it's kind of annoying. You don't want to stick all your villagers on one side, so you do kind of have this situation in Numudan where you're probably going to have to go very wide, very fast. And that is concerning, considering VortiX has been going Horseman. I wouldn't be surprised to see Numudan just littering in Limitane. It just might be mandatory here. It's not the worst idea, considering if this is going castle, you're expecting lances anyway from your opponent.
And we do see actually still actively gathering stone, I think Numudan was. Okay, I think he just pulled off very recently actually, because we did see a fortification come in as well. Some Byzantine players do that, especially when they move out wide very quickly, as you mentioned. Being able to fortify those towers on the berries buys you a good little buffer in case of these raids with the horsemen, because you are playing so wide. But Numudan only fortifies one for now, as his own horsemen to check VortiX's cavalry, keep an eye on them, and maybe get some of his own raids going, keep disrupting that Pro Scouts.
It's a little bit tricky now. There's no deer on the front side, he's just taking the safety. His own horsemen are going to slow things down on Numudan's side a little bit. But remember, he's already up to level 5 Cistern, so this is going to be nice if he can slow down attack timing, right? Just to keep the feud running longer, scale a bigger lead, but that's never going to happen. You can see what China's up to. They're already macroed for 2/3 of what they need. It's not going to take them long, and we're going to be looking at the Imperial Palace build. Imperial Palaces have just kind of taken over. We're in a heavy cab meta, so inherently the Nest of B strats, Clock Tower strats just aren't that desirable compared to all of the free information.
Yeah, it's right. I'd argue there are some matchups where if you can't get as much value from your knights as you would like as China, Clock Tower can work quite well. Up against Rus, for instance, can do quite amazingly. But VortiX is going to opt for the tried and true Imperial Palace, as we mentioned, and a third stable now on the way as well. And that probably means that we're not going to have too much supervision of stables, at least initially, unless he really wants to go for a knight all in, essentially. And we're probably going to keep supervising the economy and triple pumping light lancers at the same time.
To be totally fair, the Imperial Palace has been buffed to the point that it's like so irresistible anyway. Like, it's actually insane just how much information you get out of one button press. There was a time where you just saw the villagers, and it's like, great, I'll go after them. I also know he's gathering a lot of wood. Now you see all the production buildings they're near. Like, I think Imperial Palace is just too good in its current format. The vision is just ridiculous.
It is pretty insane. It is pretty insane. Just the sheer information you get enables China's timing so well. I'm gonna say the Imperial Palace is the main reason we see such a cap priority from Chinese in the castle age, despite having just regular old lancers, because you know exactly where to strike with them at exactly the right time. And you know, if you get raided by your own, if you get raided yourself by the enemy, well, you can see it coming half a map away. So it's not like you really need too many defensive units if you can just move out of the way quick enough.
Now looking for his in-tech up. Golden Horn Tower behind the TC. He's watched enough Byzantine players fall for that trick. Won't put it anywhere near the forward side. Yeah, I've got rotation coming in from VortiX towards the buried locations. Already scouted ahead of time. He'll also be moving there for the deer. Behind this, I really would love to see VortiX just considering the Monk timing now. You've got your first few Lancers. Really want to try to actually race up the gold off the map. And great movement there with the workers. Strikes down, what was that, 2-3 in total. Nicely played.
Yeah, slight slow reactions there from Numudan. Doesn't quite see it in time and pays a dear price for it in the form of 3 villages, which it really hurts. It really hurts at this point in time, especially because you want those berries desperately. But the thing is, it's not like you can now shift 3 more villages to compensate onto that berries to take advantage of the slots in the tower, because there's a big army in your base.
He's just jamming himself in there. Spearman to clear the horseman fast. The Montana account isn't crazy here, considering the amount of Lance that's already into the equation. The veterancy now being rushed, but not enough. Numudan, he didn't switch over Dialecticus, so the tech up isn't coming in fast. The longbows are going to get clubbed down before they'd even get vetted up.
Just like that, Numudan's military no longer exists. The timing from VortiX is just brutal in this game number 1, showing exactly why China is just relentless. He can't even get out a cataphract in time.
I mean, he can't even lose Lancers. Like, look at the double armor.
So many.
Yeah, the TC
so
does
many.
nothing. The TC absolutely does nothing in terms of raw damage to threaten this. So you can get cute like this Numudan, but at the end of the day, your plus 20 eco idled up. Monks are already out now for VortiX as relics are coming home. And you've got what? Lombos in a minute against masked knights. This is not Ajinko. I take it back. He's got a rock throw.
Yeah. Okay. That in and of itself is enough to extend this game by another 10 minutes.
Yeah, of course. You know, it's just natural.
Yeah.
Like towers should extend the game by 10 minutes on their own.
Yeah, it honestly wouldn't surprise me if Numudan finds a way somehow. But against someone like VortiX, maybe not.
He's 18 workers down. Let's temper ourselves for a short series here. That's a bit too insane of a lead. China still number 1 in this matchup.
I feel like a big part of what allowed this to happen is the choice to go into those horsemen, right? Horsemen are great to have in the feudal age. It's great to have them on the map. You can stop the scouts. You can hit a raid when China expects it the least. But the issue is, it slows you down so much, even as the Byzantines, even with your economy. You're already investing so much into these systems, into the towers on the berries, into the aqueducts in and of itself, because aqueducts, even just aqueducts take so long to actually build. That's a lot of extra idle time. All of this slows you down, then you spend so much food on these horsemen as well, which frankly found zero value, right? I'm sure Numudan would agree. Yeah, absolutely nothing. So you just delay your castle age by at the minimum a whole minute, and a minute, you can see, would have made quite a big difference here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tricky thing, right? I think Byzantine players, they get in their mind that they can go for this because delaying and playing a little bit longer feudal is good because percentile scaling makes systems better. The longer I go, the more workers I have. Problem is, China gets immediate value at the start of feudal. They get a huge spike up. It's not the same, right? Like the the return on investment, ROI, is just so much faster for China, which is why you always see them hitting these lean timings. Still to this day, even post nerfs.
Absolutely. And Knights, Lancers is all VortiX needed in this case to really close out the game and make it happen. And Numudan has the choice of the second map, and I do like this actually. I like the fact that he's still a believer. This is the map where nowadays Knights Templar I think still really, really shines. Frankly, Knights Templar on 4 water maps today is not as oppressive as it was before in terms of the aggression timing and the space they have to deal damage, but they cannot die on water. It is impossible. The extra health from the docks, especially on a map like Holy Island, is hopeless. Unless you're something like English with Admiralty, you will never win the fights near those docks.
It's interesting because like the other thing you have to think about here is that what you're up against is Tuklak, and Tuklak are buffed on water. Like they get more food income, and this is pure, real, full organic food. Like that's a really threatening thing to think about, actually. So like I'm a little bit concerned that may not immediately come to Numu's mind, because a lot of players who've been playing Frisian, for example, haven't been going woven baskets, despite the fact that 5% increase on drop-off is huge here when you've got 20+ fishing boats. So, you know, mark my words, I said it going into this tournament, I think Tugalak is actually going to be a water sieve. And I think they're going to be a surprisingly scary one. There's even the potential down the line for Tugalakabad forts assisting them on the shorelines. There's even a unique ability which maybe we get to see this game. I think ups the production rate of all nearby docks near a...
I think it's stables, right? But it might be docks as well. I'm not mistaken. It could be.
There's an ability on a dock specifically. We can have a look at it when they build
yes, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, I remember
it's just so weird. Like when you look at it first, like we'll never see this, and you're like, oh, actually, like this might be the map. But it's a map to start with aggro, VortiX, with the Tuklak Dynasty on the Holy Island, and he's already dark spearing it up. While Numudan, the Knights Templar, he hasn't committed the wood yet. No, so I think we might be seeing him walk for a dock soon. Wait.
What?
What? He's getting confirmation. Is he raxing the center?
Initially.
What? Okay. I think, if I'm not mistaken, was he planning to dock drop? Yeah, he was. I think Numu was scouting, and if there was a dock from VortiX, he was going to dock drop his side with a harbor, because a harbor is much more tanky than a dock. But because he didn't see it, he now knows there's a Dark Age rush and switches spears himself. What the hell?
That is pretty crazy. I can't lie. VortiX will spot this. The spearman moves out. Not gonna find the villager kill. The distance is too short between the barracks and the base. He's gonna get a couple pokes in, but that's about it. Numudan is now gonna queue up spearman. Now this is significant, the fact that Numudan is behind in spear production here. I mean, VortiX has 2 before Numudan even has 1 on the field. In theory, VortiX, if he keeps investing, he could actually shut down the... No way, right?
Was that sheep intentional? The sheep got in the way as well. Nah, I don't think he gets this. Like, that was a bit worrisome for a sec there, though.
It was a nice try. Nice try.
Wow, what a crazy fight. Can we just zoom in on those boys? Look at them go. Oh. Arcade spear fights. Sometimes they are the most dry, comical thing to watch. Oh, positioning matters a lot. Oh, that was well played, VortiX. Outmicroing him, Numudan. Way a bit worse.
Yeah, that's impressive there. And actually, this is what you hate to see the most when you're in this position as Numudan. Your barracks being actually separated from your main massive spearman, so that every time a new spearman comes out... Oh, that's a nice charge, though. And the pathing causes the low HP spearman to wrap around the back before he can get a hit. So Numudan gets a damage lead now. That was still so behind the numbers.
The range on that spear strike was the craziest thing. Like, he was nowhere near him when he struck through. Damn. VortiX just showing you, micro still really matters a lot here. And it's something that he's been revered for, especially on this particular map, historically.
Yeah, Numudan is going to forfeit the barracks. As I say that, he queues another spearman.
Okay.
I really suffer from caster's curse nowadays, huh?
I mean, I think, you know what it is? You're trying to be logical about this. You're cutting your losses. You're that guy at the table. Like, you know, I'm already down 50% my stack for the night. I should probably call quits. Numudan is the guy that then just pushes all the chips into the center of the.
I'm all in.
Yeah. Like, I mean, screw it. Do or die. I'm either walking out a made man, or I'm walking out a dead man.
I have to, I don't really personally understand this start here from Numudan. I mean, Knights Templar barracks opening is perfectly fine, but why in the center? What are we hoping to achieve here? I don't really
I
see the
legit
vision.
think it was the harbor strat. Like, I think that was the idea. Like I highlighted, like because you walk across, you
that
need
a
a lot
strat?
of wood anyway. I think he's trying to make it a strat because, like, if you harbor drop your opponent's side, the harbors are very hard to kill. And then if you rush Feudal Age, like, there's no world in which VortiX could burn it down quick enough before you get an archer ship out. That's the only thing I could think as a follow-up alternative that would have been better than that.
I can probably see that against most civilizations, actually. But Tughlaq, can't they just rush one healer elephant? And that's basically a battering ram. And your harbor is, you can't really get out enough ships to stop the hero elephant. That's, in my mind at least. Obviously, I've never tested this or seen it, so I don't know how the timings work out.
You need two, though, right? Because the heal elephant can't heal himself.
I don't think a sprinkle ship can kill him in time, right? If I'm not mistaken.
You're talking about doing 15 damage plus, I think, 15 every 3 or 5 seconds against a structure that has 2200 HP. 2250. I feel like that like if I'm wrong and that happens, like I'm pretty convinced heal elephants are broken already. But if that happens, then they are the most stupidly balanced unit since you'd have to go back to the first year of AoE.
I think I'm gonna have a little day
You have to
in the
experiment
lab
with this.
to test
Yeah.
that one out. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the lab.
It's like, it's interesting because like the concept of harbors being used this way does make sense in my brain. Is like it's an aggro building because like mine is bigger than yours, sort of. So when you consider the fire armor of 2 and the extra 500 HP, it shouldn't be possible to burn it down if Knights Templar aren't being too greedy.
And on Water as well, it's a little bit akin to the Mongols of dropping, right?
Yeah.
They can get that arrow slit straight away. Now, obviously, the arrow slit for Knights Templar is way more expensive, and they don't have the passive stone, but they have the health. So they get a similar of effect where you just can't really fight near their docks whatsoever and not be behind.
Exactly. It's like
so it's a similar effect.
the other way to think about it is like, it's more reminiscent on this map. It's a little bit like the Ayavid feudal timing with the industry wing.
Right.
You got all that wood, put it to good use, like get that strength for like, oh, my dock is better than yours, or I have 2, or I have the boat coming straight away. But regardless of the losses, we are in the feudal. This is an ambitious dock. VortiX. He's already got hardened tech in. Like Numudan didn't gather any gold. Like this is a wash of a fight. Has to wait for the archers. Cancels it just in time. And this is the brutal thing as well. Like Tughlaq, that's another interesting thing about Dark Age contests. They pay a little bit more, but they get the hardened tech 3 times faster than other civs. And look at him. He's already ready to body block. Dude, VortiX is on one today.
VortiX has a bone to pick here for sure. He wants to really shorten this day for everyone here. Numudan, so much idle time with these villagers. 1 goes down, 3 left here, and they're still not safe. They're still not safe. They can't get this stock up. So much back and
body
forth.
blocks again. This is the
this guy's
best use of a scout I've seen in ages. Oh my god.
Someone stop this man.
Dude, this guy, VortiX, like, you know what he's just done? Like, the weird summoning effect happened on him. He just channeled himself from several years ago, back when he played Warcraft 3, where body blocking was real shenanigans, and he is in full vibe mode again. Oh my god, 2 worker kills, a 6 eco lead overall. He's tooking it up with his fishing boats, and remember, his fishing boats are just better. They give 5% more resources, so he's already inflating a lead there to kind of balance out against Numudan being better on wood gathering.
Listen to me. What I want to see is VortiX, Lucifron, and B in a body blocking race.
No, you forgot Louis. You forgot Louis.
Oh, Louis as well? Okay, I haven't seen too much from him, but yeah, fair enough. And Louis then?
It's like sometimes it looks clowny, but then you remember he's playing on like 200 ping.
I would imagine Anatan is probably does this quite a lot as well. I haven't seen too many of his games recently, but I would imagine he does this a lot too.
Anno likes to think he's a good dirt player, right? So like, yeah, he probably thinks he's a good dirt. Yeah, I can see it.
So these 4 or 5, we just like put them in a custom, right? Just get a unit from each to like body block and just see who delays the unit more, and he will be the ultimate body blocker. Honestly, I'd pay to watch that.
But you have to scale it like levels. So level 1 is you have to block or you tie. Obviously, everyone's going to pass that.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. Rounds, right?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think that's content right now.
That's it. Get on it, boys. Look, we just passed you the way. All these people like, I don't feel like I got a big enough chart. There you go. Take this angle. Boom. Different content. Don't just do another build order. All right. Give the people what they really need. Not more of this. I don't want more heal elephants. Unless VortiX is going to body block with them too.
Reminds me a little bit of like a sack racing, you know, when you get in a sack and you, yeah.
Like didn't we used to have there was like a micro battle type thing before, wasn't there, with like mangoes and whatever. I think.
Oh, you mean the micro challenge?
Yeah, the micro challenge. Yeah.
I think so.
I
haven't actually
need a
played
harder
it too much.
version of that. You know, it's too easy. All right, this might be too easy for VortiX though. Like we are talking about elephants now. We are seeing Numudan trying to aggro in. The problem is, those fishing boats that should be helpless actually attack you back.
Yep. And economically, it is also getting out of control very quickly here in favor of VortiX. And the thing with Knights Templar, right? Previously, they were known for this just brutal feudal timing in terms of ship prowess, similarly to Ayyubids, right? Or Abbasid, more old school, when you just get those ships out, the tri-ship composition, and you just shut the opponent down instantly. They just can't really do that anymore because of the price of the docks and the slightly slower wood gathering that they have been nerfed at again. Their bonus is now defensive, so when you push across like this, well, not as good as before.
Other fun detail for you, Raider Elephants are probably the single best unit now on a map like Code Island. Because raiding. If, you know, it's easy for you to see a trample or stampede starting and back away on a land only. But when you're distracted by this, if VortiX walks a Raider Elephant into a gold line or a tree line, remember that Raider Elephant can do 48 damage across his trample. So this is a really scary point for Numudan, actually.
It really is. He's on the defensive now, so VortiX realistically can't stick here for very, very long. As you mentioned before, that health bonus is absolutely not to be underestimated. Now Numudan. Actually, VortiX, though. Knowing VortiX, this doesn't surprise me. He's going to look to force the issue.
Handles the eco. Dives in more. He's trying to get the snipe on the back line so he can bring the demo ships in. He's been holding them in on a delay here. He's up to 4 already. Here they come. Demos. Looking to connect in. This is a hell of a gambit, but it looks like it's working. Archer ship goes down. Fishing boats can't save it. And the demos are connecting. Where is the recovery arc for this? He's got his own demos coming. We may lose everything before they see the light of day.
The timing here from VortiX is just impeccable in game number 2. He's looking to close it out even faster than game 1. The fishing ships are now under threat. There's next to no naval presence any longer for Numudan here. He instead heavily invested onto land instead, and now heavily suffers on water because of it. Now the demos, actually,
What the hell was that range?
The ships. That was something.
Mate, that
was the bug, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was the bug. He was aiming at the explosive ship, but it died as it took him out. But the spring was released, so it goes infinite range and it hits the archer ship behind. Are you kidding me?
That can go like way off screen. I've seen that happen. It's actually insane.
But that's the perfect thing to hit. Like those 2 demo ships waiting to come in. VortiX just gets the perfect trade there. And you saw how late his reaction was, right? Like he was milliseconds away from demos connecting and getting the whole fleet straight away. Like this is the thing. VortiX, he lives by the sword, dies by the sword, by a needle's difference here. And something that definitely, if it stepped on a needle, would scream like the rest of us. These heavy elephants, they're coming in, but they're definitely going to hurt more than a slight prick.
Yeah, even worse news for Numudan, like you mentioned. Double healer elephant, double raider elephant, spearman as well. The pilgrim is way too relaxed for what's in front of him.
It's just, I've been to a zoo before. They're such friendly creatures. They never... Chevalier, which are just, in this situation, worse. Raider Elephant Stampede. Did he activate it? I think he did. Not really. Yeah. One of them's waddling around a bit. Here we go. Activates it now. Tries to move with it. Heal Elephant being targeted down, but this takes a lot of effort. However, he split them up. He actually splits them up. Numudan Formation shuffling to try to move away. VortiX is going to lose both of them simultaneously.
The reinvestment into land. Yeah, very nice payoff here for Numudan, right? He sacrifices a good bit on water, but gets value on land instead. Now, this is not direct economic damage, so he's still quite firmly behind, I would say, but this is the sort of trade that he was looking for. Taking those out, big win for Numudan. Not out of it yet. Still has quite the fighting chance, and as we mentioned, even though he's quite behind on the Navy side, those docks, as we mentioned before, is the prime place to fight. So it's going to be very difficult for VortiX to fully eliminate Numudan on water. Oh, and we know what this means, don't we?
Yeah, I think we know exactly what this means. Just in case water doesn't go well, let's get some land eco. As I like to call it, a food pit mine.
That's right. For those who are unaware, Tuklakabad Fort, excuse me, as one of the governors, causing houses and farms in the influence of a fortress, which is just one tile, so that's all you can fit, to generate food per minute. Quite a nice little bonus for them.
It's crazy.
VortiX clearly has that on his agenda.
I think is it 244, level 1? It might be 244. It's really high, actually, when you cap it out.
Yeah. That it is.
See, maybe I'm thinking too much. Maybe that's later on. I'm trying to... Is it 12 or 16 it starts at?
I feel like it's either 12 or 15, I want to say. If I'm not mistaken.
If it's 12, it's 144. And then... It might be 12, 16, and then 22. So yeah, I think I'm thinking of what comes out. But 144 is pretty good still. Like, that's passive food. It's something you're going to have to build anyway.
VortiX says, well, 2 elephants weren't enough. How about 6? See if he looks to march out again. Pilgrim gets there just in time as he cheers for victory and then disappears into the nether realm.
Death by elephants is death by abduction from aliens.
Yep.
But he's moving forward. And remember at this stage, Numudan, the trade-off is not even archers that cluster up against radar elephants. Also, it's going to sound weird, but it's bad having more economy. It's just more things get trampled. And he is spreading wide. He's on deer right now. Live coming in on the water, though. Forcing him back. Numu. He only has a single demo ship to play with here. Archer ships. Already looking for it. And look at the demo count. Archer ships on his side. Not quick enough. And the surround! All the way from the back. VortiX reminds you why you never play Holy Island against him.
That's one way to cancel out the extra HP, is to just have so many demos that it just doesn't matter. Pure overkill, and it pays off here for VortiX as the Numudan has nothing but a springboard ship, and, well, that's it actually, as the demo's gone now. That's all he has on
Bye to that too.
And yeah, he can say goodbye to that too. Only the docks on our left. On land as well, he's getting pinned into his base. Numudan has by now switched onto the deer, which if VortiX discovers, that could be very scary. And just look at the military on land as well. Numudan has Chevalier, has archers and spearmen, but VortiX is matching those numbers, not even considering the elephants here.
Trample time?
Oh,
thinking about it. Hey, forwards for the radar elephants. Spearmen need to be thinned a bit faster though. He's trying to min-max this using the healing. The heal elephants themselves are actually substantially tankier than the radar elephants. That spear count from Numu on the chase. Being thinned fast. Many of them left. There is a risk that the trample comes out and forces them to fully retreat. Chevalier are just trying to bypass. They go for the back line. The injured heel elephant now being targeted, but he's going to turn for the trade. This is exactly what he wants. Reforms towards the archer mass. Numu, no getting away from it. Trample just got activated, and look at the damage spread. There's no escaping this. Full pursuit. Headbutts him down. And a bigger lead than when this began. Numu, there's just really not much left that he can do. He still hasn't even got the... Finally something dies.
There's just too much here. Numudan to deal with. The elephants. If you can't actually kill them the moment you engage, or very shortly after, the healing just provides an immense amount of value the longer the fight goes on, and it's only going to get worse and worse. And once you have a healthy archer mass behind the elephants, that's when it gets really, really scary here for Numudan, as we can see it. Double Pilgrim now falling again for Numudan. Earlier, some made through. Actually managed to slip through on water all the way to that sacred site, giving him much needed gold, but it is way more than that.
Last time it looked competitive because he had so many spearmen. This time it barely registers. Enough archers to snipe them down. Almost perfectly one by one. Raider Elephant's going for the final tap. Chevalier to dive to the back. But, you know, this is the thing. Like, yes, it may look like he's dealing with the heal elephants, but it's the Raider Elephants now. The Raider Elephants are not being resolved. They're actually better than Chevalier. They stand their ground against it. And the Stampede, he goes for the workers. And he gets right on top of everything. The archers, they turn back into it. There's no getting away.
Numudan fighting tooth and nail to stay in this second game here, not wanting to find himself on match point, and does a great job of fighting. He can tell he's microing his butt off here, but the numbers just aren't there. The eco is no longer there. VortiX almost doubling up, close to. Even House of Learning behind this. How does he do it, man?
I don't know why we're even still in this game, right? Like, I respect the perseverance, but it's hashed out. I mean, it felt disastrous from minute one for Numu. But, like, you're playing against Fishing, you're playing against Castle. The Pilgrims, I think, are like 50% getting intercepted. And all that effort, like every single iota of effort, now just going to be repaired.
So many Raider Elephants still alive. Once these are upgraded, I mean, the Spearman mass is there for Numudan, but it's
Space over.
It's like, you know, when you get like a moment of respite to really like stop and assess your situation, you check your eco, maybe you have a scout seeing what the opponent's doing, you're like, okay, let's go next.
Okay, like you check your legs, you check your arms. Oh, they've all fallen off. That would be a good time to call a hospital and leave. Just the brutal one. And I mean, shout out to Vodka for not getting too close. You know, I truly believe, like, you know, there's beauty in AoE form. We should get closer to it so we can see it more on the screen. You had the right instinct to stay far away. Those Raider Elephants are the loudest thing ever in this freaking game, and I still have PTSD of the game where I zoomed up against them. I don't know why they're so loud.
It's always quite fascinating to watch, especially from my perspective, right? To watch a player that I go up against very often and often have really heated games against, going back and forth against Numudan, for instance, and then seeing someone of VortiX's caliber just, you know, no discredit to Numudan, of course, he is a force of a player, but just seeing VortiX just manage to dismantle someone like him in this fashion is quite, yeah, it's quite something to witness. But we are only game number 2 so far. Anything can happen in this series. I am not counting down Numudan whatsoever. There are plenty to go here.
I mean,
but it's always just marvelous to watch.
To no offense him, but basically what you're saying at the end of the day is if you can encounter one of these two in the bracket, you're saying Numudan every time. It's VortiX. Every time you think you're of a caliber, VortiX is one of those players that you then encounter and realize, damn, I've still got some.
That's the thing with VortiX, right? Because, you know, you can have games against Marine Lord, you can have games against, you know, B, Anatan, these types of players, and you know, it takes a while, but eventually you slowly lose, right? But someone like VortiX, he wastes no time.
Oh, there's no breathing.
You will die in under 20 minutes virtually every time, and that's basically every game I've ever had against VortiX. You know, a couple of wins in there squeezed in, but yeah, it's humbling for sure.
Yeah, my favorite one is when you encounter a player like Hilyadi up against him ladder, and then they actually out aggro, and then you like, you know, it doesn't even work as much against VortiX as it used to. Like out aggroing him doesn't work that well anymore. He's gotten very good at responding accordingly. Like that, he's become so much more robust. There was a time where, like, I don't want to call it gimmicky, but it was almost like it was too much in one direction. And when it worked, it looked great. But like once you're like, I get what he's up to now. Solve the problem. We saw that from a few players. But you know, VortiX over the last year he's developed into so much more of a robust player. Yes, he'll still play that aggro when he can. It's kind of like Louis in the way we describe him. Like Louis is so threatening because yes, he loves the late game. Yes, he wants the late game. But more important than anything else, he knows when he can have that late game, when he can't.
It's true. VortiX himself said so, right? He has felt himself and his playstyle shift towards the better in the last year, especially like you mentioned, and you can see the results of that, right? He's looking in his best form ever in the last year, without a doubt. With a couple ups and downs, right? Like one tournament he might look slightly better than the last one. Still early days for EGC Masters Finals, so we can't really call how exactly he fares up now compared to how he did beforehand. But plenty of expectations and plenty of deliverance so far from him as well. So get ready for game number 3 in our third match of the day here. Once again, Numudan's map pick. The loser always picks the next map after the previous one. And he's going to lean on his very comfortable Ottomans pick up against, I would say, a good matchup nowadays for Ottomans. Is the Rus or King of the Hill? But King of the Hill with Rus, well, there's history there.
I mean, it was the classic. I feel like when we first introduced King of the Hill, you were either an English main or you were a Rus main. Those were the two desirable options. There's some China occasionally, but I think English and Rus really consolidate themselves here. And of course, it's for the tree lines. You just get so much gold gen early on. Hunting cabins have been nerfed a little bit there, so that might impact. But the safety on the flanks, I wonder if there's no pro scouts here, just all the flanks is what I'm thinking. Fortified, the crazy thing is those palisade walls you build as Rus don't take any longer to build than standard ones. So it might actually be an area disadvantageous. So let's see if Rus can do it, if they can remain the kings of the hill, or if Numudan can begin to stage a comeback as we head in for a Rus versus Ottoman showdown.
We load into game number 3 here, in the match between VortiX and Numudan, and King of the Hill is the map of choice for Numudan as he spawns in the south side, in the fitting color green for the Ottomans, opening with the military school, facing VortiX, one of the few players that still favor Rus nowadays. And he's going to be the north side of the map in the color red on his Rus, as we mentioned. Double hunting cabin opener here, nothing crazy so far. Numudan, as we mentioned, is going to go for that military school, so no barracks shenanigans, at least yet, although there's very heavy wood gathering on the way, unless it's just further mining camp. We'll have to see in a moment. He could opt to go for... Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. He could have opted maybe to go for the barracks and look to torch down the hunting cabins. That strat has had some employment previously, especially during the Pro Scouts meta. But it's not going to be on the menu now for Numudan.
Yeah, it's a good map to try and burn down hunting cabins on, right? The hunting cabins are always going to be outranged to TC. Even if VortiX tries to not be greedy about it, what are you going to do? Put it on the tiny baby tree line? Not realistic. So we'll see him at least get a little bit of poker fair here. But you see what I mean about the deer locations. East side, not so much. But the west side, kind of walk out there, wall, also just wall the center. Walling is expensive, but I think something that we've seen slept on with Rus is the Rus walls take no longer than anyone else's walls to build. Bar China and Sushi, of course. But they have double the health. So that's a pretty big boon against a civ that is probably going towards horsemen.
That it is. Expensive, of course. A little bit less so on this map, thanks to the cliffs as well as, well, essentially, 20% of the map is just wood? Pretty much, at least that, maybe more.
I think it's more.
30% probably.
Yeah, I'm lining up my brain. Weirdly enough, wait, I think it's more than 30. It might be 40%. If you just bring the lines
to
across.
Visualize, right?
Well, the easiest way to visualize it is you cut the northeast side and then move that line all across to line with the southwest tree line.
Yeah.
And then obviously you have some leftover there, but you're going to be cutting shorter now with the remainder. You can kind of see what I'm saying when I envision like that, right? You're already easily 4 rows in, so you're actually close to 50% of the map being wood.
Quite something, and one of the reasons that Rus has looked... In the past, they've honestly looked virtually unbeatable on this map. The sheer gold generation from not only the hunting cabins, but especially the high trade house, you can, well, at least in the past, not anymore most likely, but you can easily get upwards of 200 gold a minute at tier 1 or 2 bounty in that corner there. I mean, you can go full nights and just sell wood for gold, and you don't even need to mine it. It is very impressive what Rus can do here.
Did he have room, actually? Because that stone looks really close in the corner.
That's a good question. If we can have a look there, we can maybe tell.
Did he get griefed?
If we click on the stone mine, I can definitely tell you.
I think he might have got slightly griefed.
Oh, yeah, there's no space. There's no space. Oh, he's not going to be happy about that one.
Yeah, pause remake, question mark? Come on, this is not an emerald spawn. Oh, no.
Well, the 3 minutes have passed. Tough luck, eh?
Oops. Always scout your corners, folks. Okay, so
Rough
now
one.
it's only going to be a 500 gold. We're not 600 gold.
Yeah.
There it is. It's unplayable, really. Trash save.
It's
Go next.
it's tough, you know. Maybe Golden Gate here. Pro Scouts on this map doesn't feel great. Even in the past, I don't think. I mean, to be fair, we haven't seen this map pool, this map in particular, very often in the rotation during the Pro Scouts heyday, not long ago. So we didn't get to see it. I'm sure they would have went it. As to today, I'm not so sure.
I think it feels a little bit tricky. I think there's just easier ways of playing the map, but like I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like it's a little bit of a safety band for a lot of Roost players. You know, like we're seeing it with China as well, where there's a lot of situations where China probably doesn't need to do it anymore, but it almost just feels too safe not to.
Yep. Wooden Fortress is actually placed behind the lumber camp, as opposed to directly adjacent to it on the side, which is a bit unusual, I have to say. I feel like that would give a bit more safety. I guess he was worried about... Ah, yeah, it's a spearman, right? He was... Because on the wood line, they'll be out of range, but this way it's in range of the TC. Yeah, that makes perfect sense, actually.
Adds in nicely. VortiX just checking on what Numudan is doing. You're expecting aggression here. I mean, Ottomans can rush castle occasionally. But on a map design like this, I feel like you're better off getting units in. By the way, like, have you noticed how different this version of King of the Hill looks?
It does, actually. It feels like...
The sides, right? Like this last time we had this, it was fully encased. Whereas now it's got like cut points on the left and the right side. What I love though, and shout out to
right.
like the thing I love here is the coherency. Although it's a different version of King of the Hill this time, what anchors the same is the way that it's balanced the two sides. They're mostly equal in terms of design.
And that's important, right? I mean, at the end of the day, skill is what we're here to see. We want to trump out as much of the random generation as we can, of course. We don't want that to influence the games too much. Inevitably, a little bit of it is fun. We can't deny that, but speaking of fun, the spearmen will have some as they go directly into the villages now. But VortiX pulls away just in time, as the archer is there to meet them.
Yeah, now they can't really get away without taking damage. The archer should be able to stick on top of them. I'm expecting one spear to go down.
Nice
Sad life
stepping.
Spearman. Wait. Ooh. I think he started stepped a bit too regularly, no? Still gets the kill anyway. And wait. Newbie, chill. You've got a long stick, but hear me out. Flying sticks are more dangerous.
That's right. Stable follow-up actually, now from VortiX. So, it is a lot of scouts. Do we have pro scouts in already? I think we must do, right?
Yeah,
there we go.
he already primed it.
Makes sense. There's going to be stable as well. Knights most likely on the cards here for VortiX. He knows he's going to have to fight even for his home deer. The Ottoman pump comes in pretty quickly if they choose to do so.
Numu, he is starting to prep for attack. So, doesn't feel like there's a breach point, which makes sense with the Wooden Fortress now being up. Like, what would you actually attack here? Just build a few Sipahi, slow down the Pro Scouts if you can. Maybe force VortiX to overinvest in the second age, because like the fact he's building Knights here doesn't feel the best on a map like King of the Hill when you know Ottomans have anti-cav.
Yeah. Scaling into Knights here, if you get the value early in time, that's fine. That's good. But, you know, if you just sit back, you know, fight here and there, but don't really win fights too much, and then later on it comes down to really the center, which is what the map is all about, then Cav is not really something you want to have, especially as you mentioned, against arguably the best anti-Cav civilization in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Ottomans, it's always been that fun discussion. Best light Cav, as anti-Cav, best siege. What more do you want us to say?
Massive
yeah,
units,
they're a civ.
non-stop.
Yep. On Civ, no, it's weird. Like, Ottomans, I appreciate them in their current state because I feel like you actually have to play the game to win with them. It's not as bad as it was. Like, sorry to call you out in this mirror, but you know, when you were making your rise as a pro player, it was just pick it and go late game. Whereas now you have to earn it. in a very different style. However,
No, yeah.
it's really powerful.
I do remember the days where, you know, it doesn't matter what you did before. Once you get that Istanbul Observatory, you can just... because you know you're fine. Gone are those days. Luckily, thank God. As the Mechmed Imperial Armory. On the way now for Numudan. Halfway complete already, so way ahead of VortiX here. Again, you can see Pro Scout, although it gives you a lot in the long run, it does delay you very severely. Of course, there's a heavy military investment to consider as well for VortiX, which is going to start to pay off as he picks off his first villager here. Catching the wall from Numudan. Actually, second one. Numudan, this is a very painful timing. This is always really hurts when this happens, you know. You actively think, okay, I know this cav. I'm going to go build walls. Oh, tough luck.
Yeah, it's just amazing what a few knights can do, because, like, even if he tries to rush Janissaries out now, you're not going to feel great about that. You actually want to build knights. And that means, in the meantime, they just get to keep raiding. The other thing about building knights, it takes a very long time to produce the first few. So VortiX just gets to stranglehold, and he's showing no signs of rushing age up. He's taking this opportunity to snatch more deer from the map, while he continues to punish the attempts to wall by Numudan.
That's right. As you mentioned, we don't want to go into Janissary straight away. Too expensive, too slow, too vulnerable to most units that aren't cavalry, really, when we look at them in isolation. As VortiX actually continues to sweat his numbers. He is in a bit of a tricky spot, I have to say, because he does have great military numbers, but once the Numudan's upgrades start coming in and his own knights, really VortiX can't contest this too much, as the Wallalol getting close, but not quite.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a panic moment there when the knights start to move, like, hold on, what are we doing?
Yeah.
It's not... We're seeing way too many Roost Knights turn to green today. So number one wall attempt's going to come through. That one early enough, but of course we just recycle the charge, and that means the Imam point is just going to be fully burnt.
These are great catches by VortiX, for sure, yeah.
Oh,
catching these Imams as they get the... Oh, and another villager. This is the thing, I mean, if you just keep raiding, you can keep finding the value, even an age behind. Now, the knights are dying for this. At least earlier,
He's sending reinforcements. Like, VortiX is cutting him off ahead. I don't know if that's intentional positioning.
Oh, that's
like,
quite bold.
Technically, yeah, because, like, Numudan's knight should now win that fight, so you have to be careful. But circling like a shark, man. He's everywhere.
Yeah, you could argue maybe the castlage from Numudan maybe was a touch greedy. I mean, I'm sure he probably expected VortiX to go for a quick castlage turnaround time. It's quite hard to reinvest into Feudal after Pro Scouts in this kind of a situation. But VortiX does so regardless and catches Numudan off guard because of that. VortiX actually forced to go into space here, prudently so, because once this cavalry mass reaches his base, and the knight's dying as well, it can get scary.
And then they're already on the way to the base. Like, he needs them ASAP. VortiX, you know, I don't think he was wrong in his move he's made here, but Numudan's reaction has been astute. He's not just knights, it's also the Sipahi. He's just looking for bulk to give him a flood point, and he will be found in the corner. You cheeky son. No, these archers, that was what I was questioning when he got scared away of his knight. He was walking these archers in front of those knights coming home. I don't even know how they got this far in the base without being seen. Numu, what? That's a charitable donation. Thank you very much.
Third military school. Blueprinted now for Numudan. That's going to be on the way, so that's very nice. That's all the military schools he needs for now. Of course, the Vizier point will unlock a fourth one once he does go for it. I think we've only had one, or maybe two Vizier points so far. Have a look.
Could be, what, two at this point, I think?
Could be two, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we did go for it.
Campus.
Yeah, so he can get one more soon enough once he decides to get the stone for it. There's plenty more to invest into. He will need some new imams for more relics. VortiX.
Yeah. I like what he'd done, by the way. Like, he didn't go for Anatolian Hills, right? Because what he'd done instead is he walled the east side. And yes, it did cost him a few workers attempting that. But it means he doesn't have to waste the point in the sheep now. And he gets to lean into these more greedy choices like the military campus.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, if you don't have to go for the sheep, you'd rather not, honestly, right? For sure. Retain that sort of lead up in tempo for the Vizier points. Because the optimal Vizier point path is also greedy.
Wait, hold on a sec. It didn't block! It didn't block!
Wow!
I thought you gave me your expert opinion, Mir. Oh my god.
Look, that's pixel perfect. Thing is, it's not the stone that's deceptive.
It's the tree.
trees. Yeah, exactly. It's always hard to tell with the trees. That is. Oh my god. Can we clip this? Thank you.
Look at it. It's pitch perfect. I said it wasn't a Marine Lord spawn. I was right. It's a VortiX spawn. Oh my god.
That is wild. Well, he's happy.
Should be. That's gonna be. I don't know. I'm gonna. What are we at? Bounty tier 2? Probably gonna be like 320 gold.
Minimum
420
250. Minimum 250. It's important to mind that it has been actually was that yeah, oh no yeah the high trade house was nerfed as well. Oh,
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
I think it was high trade house too, no? A little bit?
Was it?
I might be
Double
wrong.
check. It was 15% range, wasn't it, on hunting cabins? I remember that. We'll
Yeah.
find out.
We will find out.
Now this, let me teach you, Twitch. This is where you run an ad break as we click on it.
That
Then-
will certainly get the engagement going, without a doubt, right?
Okay.
Because we
it's-
have veterancy coming in.
It's not as hard as I thought. It's 236. You thought it was at least 250. Damn. Like, we have to wait for farm bounty tier.
Yeah, I mean we only have tier 2 for now, right? So soon enough it's gonna get quite close to that 300. Still just a ridiculous amount of gold, man. I mean,
It is. It's free
you know,
relics,
that's
basically.
literally 3 relics. It's yeah, it's good. It's pretty good. It's all right. It's decent.
Bruce, the only civ that can get 8 relics on King of the Hill.
Wise word. Not even counting the cabins, which together are probably a whole relic together, right? At least 30 each.
27,
Oh, close
yeah. Should be about the same on the other. Yep.
Okay.
50 gold a minute there as well. Hence, more knights on the way now. Flash comes in, does snipe one of the siege weapons. Warlord gonna come out. Numudan says, get off my lawn. They all right then?
VortiX is
Fair enough.
playing very aggressive here, actually, I have to say. Maybe overstepping a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Against Springles now, the Spearmen, they just got wiped. Janissaries, it is going to be the panic button. Get out of jail free card. Comes in clutch here, especially against this many knights coming through. And now Numudan, well, he has a push point here.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm not even sure that he actually needed these Janissaries. With the Springles, as long as the Springles stay alive, the Spearmen will die. And the Cav presence is too much from Numudan. Even against VortiX is technically superior Cav. At least once he gets Boyars, which I don't think he has yet. So not superior at this point in time. But, you know, having the Janissaries will always be good. As VortiX's Knights get caught!
No, what? I just...
Knights.
It's all gone wrong. I don't think VortiX... Is he going to have time to remax now?
Do you know what happened? He wanted to flank around the
Oh,
left,
the
but the wall
pathing.
is up, so the pathing ruined him there. That has lost me so many games, KP.
It's
You
just,
have no idea.
like, against who? You playing Voldemort?
Well, no, in general, too many. Or Wham, for that matter, right?
Wow,
Whoever
Louis.
wars the
Louis.
most.
Yeah, well, Louis,
Yeah.
as I like to call him. You're like, oh, there's no possible way someone's walled this area 8 minutes. Why is it walled?
Yeah,
All of a sudden, you're running
like,
out of the TC.
I'm like, no way he walled there, and then I lose my knights, and I'm like, okay, he walled there.
You know what we need? It's the thing that like Dota has, which is when you hold a button, the pathfinding turns off. Alright, you remember the one? I don't know if you use it. Like how many people do?
Yeah. I do remember setting. I didn't use it, but yeah, I know the one you mean.
That would look hilarious on replays as well. Just knights there running against a wall.
Yeah, that would be wild, actually.
Knights.
We have
Oh wait. There's still a gap. There's still a gap. There's still a gap. Squeeze.
there?
Squeeze. No, there's not.
No,
He
there's not.
just
It's-
dropped himself. Don't listen to
It's just-
me. I'm a caster. Oh
I
god.
had a feeling because the wall doesn't look right for there to
Right?
be.
Like, why
gap
would you
there,
walk
right? So,
there
like,
anyway?
that's crazy, man. What?
I think he was looking for the tile that wasn't built to burn. It just doesn't exist.
This is like in an old school RPG where there's just an invisible wall and you can't go there yet, even though it's like completely open.
Yeah, it's like Modern Warfare 2 when you're like, oh, I can't get out of the map. Okay, if I find the perfect pixel, I can elevator glitch out of this thing. That's what we need next.
Maybe
Oh,
a
man.
horse jump mechanic soon. Trademark.
Or we just Skyrim mod this and you go up the cliff and down the cliff.
She's just sliding.
the infinite speed glitch from Skyrim as well while you're at it. Just keep running up and down, catapult across the map. Numudan, just all of a sudden his TC explodes as a knight hits it that hard.
We do see now. I mean, Numudan is just full Sepahi pretty much at this point in time.
Yeah.
Alongside the Springolds and VortiX. Yeah, this is what hurts, right? In this mid game when you realize the Janissaries are there. It's like, well, I can't really go Knights anymore. Not on this kind of a map. There's not much to raid with so many walls. And, you know, it is Numudan. There's gonna be walls, you can bet.
Yeah, we're past that 15-minute mark, remember? First 15 minutes, I'll be aggressive. Then, how does 50 minutes sound?
That's right. So foot infantry it is for VortiX. Many spears. Lots of archers. Now men-at-arms as well. Which... It's tough nowadays, isn't it? It's tough.
It's like, it has its place, so he's trying to litter them to minimize the impact of Janissaries. But, like, the problem I see here, VortiX's archers have choice paralysis. They need to eliminate the Springolds and the Janissaries really quickly. And then they're still worried about dying to the Sepahi.
Yeah.
So many targets, and oh god. It's an ambitious spread. It's a very thin spread. It's like trying to get a knob of butter across a whole loaf of bread, and it's gonna lead to VortiX being dead.
It's honestly, that fight wasn't even close, and that's Ottomans for you in this kind of a position. It's such a great map for them, and Numudan showing you exactly why. The siege advantage, the cavalry advantage. There's just little you can do against it once you. I mean, we saw VortiX built up a lead. He just tossed it to the extent that he's even, and you know that's all Ottomans need. And Numudan, with exemplary gameplay in this game number 3, fights back and picks himself up a much-needed win here. So very well done there, VortiX. Now, I'm gonna go back to the drawing board, and as we mentioned before, right, despite the very decisive first 2 games, Numudan is a motivated player, and you know, he practices a lot. He knows what it's like being 2 games down and understands that not all hope is lost. Just recollect your thoughts, focus up, and there's always hope, as Aragorn said.
What? Wait. That was a trilogy too. So we're past the trilogy. You need... Oh no, that's Hobbit territory. It might be doomed. No, we'll have to see though. Numudan, I mean, this is like the rally point, right? Like it's the confidence boost you need. Maybe start propelling yourself. But the Roosemains who are watching this is exactly what you needed. The Reddit post is loaded. Quick, hit submit. Roos over nerfed. Look at what happened. You got your proof now. They can actually lose.
Indeed, they can. And
maybe not so rarely these days. We think.
I do wonder if not losing that cavalry might have made the difference here for VortiX, but honestly, I'm not sure it would have. I mean, he lost, what, 6-7 knights, which, yeah, is significant, but would it have been enough in this fight here? I'm not so sure.
The Janissaries, like, look at the count. It's still so high. Like, I don't. I think the problem there is he just, like, it's almost like you need a cajillion more archers, because you can't solve the spring problem. But if you have a cajillion more archers, then the Sepahi just eat you. It's, at that point, it feels like a foregone conclusion. But it does mean we're not just going to get a 3-0 stomp. That means the day is going to be very long now. That's just predictions coming in. Next up, though, it ended the last series in game number 4. We've got Delhi versus French.
Will it end the series here as well? Now, the map favors Delhi even more than Dry Arabia did, right? The extra berries, extra natural terrain, of course, in the form of the cliffs, more wood lines as well, plenty of small wood lines on Lipani as well. These are all good things for Delhi in this matchup in particular. It makes it so much harder for the knights to mobilize the way they would like, as the Ghazis can, you know, because of the additional move speed, they can slip through these more constrained terrains with, you know, way easier, and then find those surrounds on those knights as needed. So, and especially with VortiX behind them, this could be scary for Numudan, but as you yourself said, and I saw chat mentioning it as well, Numudan's French is very scary. I haven't seen it too often. I know it's very solid, but I look forward to seeing it on the grand stage now.
Yeah, he's a bit of a beast when it comes to this Civ. I mean, it's more his ability to macro to late game. Like, he's a French late game enjoyer. Like, most people say he's a late game enjoyer overall. But, you know how it is. With French, some people just love the raid, the early presence, the domination. Numudan, whenever I see him play French, it's like that early domination is so that he can have his late game, right? It's the cake that he doesn't want to share with the rest of his game.
It's true. It's very true. It will come down quite a bit to those deer as well. Yusuf Numudan will go for a similar approach as Demu. Let's just hope the sheep split will not look similar.
Oh god, that's gonna be a PTSD moment for at least one person watching. I mean, in fairness, Pro Scouts is the crutch, the great equalizer to a certain degree, but I mean, it might not be as impactful this time around when there's even more berries for the berry lords. So VortiX, he's up on match point. He's one away from sealing the deal. If it doesn't end here, we go to Coastal Cliffs, and the pick potential is kind of wild. Maybe Lancaster, maybe Macedonians, Sengoku on the other side. But before we can talk about new civs, we have to go for the good old fashions. Delhi versus French in the Berrylands.
We witnessed VortiX here on EGC Masters Final, looking to close out his first series of the tournament. Here in game number 4, piloting the Delhi Sultanate on Lipany in the color red, facing none other than Numudan in the color green, as the French looking to claw his way back in this set and put a win on the board against one of the world's very finest players. As the mill opener is underway for him, another wheelbarrow start here for Numudan begs the question of Pro Scouts, whether it's on the menu for him today, or is he more of a lamb enjoyer as opposed to venison?
Gotta get on the deer side of things, right? Like, this one like this for Nimu, it's pretty nice. Especially the clustered in the corner. I don't know if he'd ever just proxy these. It's kind of unfortunate the Pro Scouts just feels inevitable for French, because like there is ways he could play the spawn without it entirely, and it would give him more tempo. Because the idea is like the initial deer is between you and your opponent, you run towards it. Secondary is like actually huggable, where you could wall yourself in the corner. But I'm saying all these things as if Pro Scouts isn't going to be the first thing he does, guys. Like, come on. Wheelbarrow's already in the way. Why? Because I need to put more people on gold.
I do think you can make a real strong case for skipping Pro Scouts here, especially. Just like you mentioned, the spawn's actually so good for it, really, when you look at Numudan. All it takes is a very cheap wall from the first wood line to that big stone, to that third wood line, and then towards, using even the smaller wood lines. I mean, that's less than 300 wooden walls. Obviously, you do it later. And you secure yourself an immense amount of food in the 2 deer packs. Gold that you need for almost the rest of the game, essentially. And these are the sort of spawns that Numudan loves. He does tend to lean more towards the macro side, even with aggressive civilizations like the French. So it will be quite interesting to see whether he does look to prioritize that early on.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like he's doing pretty good on sheep as well, which can be a challenge up against Delhi, considering they don't need to come back. And again, VortiX did hang around on the sheep a little bit there, clubbing at the beginning. What's the overall sheep pool looking like? I feel like VortiX doesn't have much. No, and they've just encountered each other. So is it 9? Newman must be like 13. Ah, look at that. I've watched too many games.
Good.
Way too many games.
Pretty good indeed. So Numudan actually picking up the lead in this one.
Perfectly done. Perfect Civ for it as well. Inzi could actually have a bit of flex where he doesn't necessarily need to go for Pro Scout straight away. Which, actually, I like that more here. Like, you can still do Pro Scouts, but I'm a much bigger fan of delay, where you go 2 to 3 nights instead of 1. Because you know how it is. Like, most people run Pro Scouts as 1 night and then just greed. But you don't really get much constriction on your opponent's base with that.
Yeah, the double triple night opening to Pro Scouts, that was very common in French JD matchup especially. And I think you can have prudence here as well. It's a similar sort of dynamic, right? The early cav bump from both. It could be a decent idea, I'm going to say, honestly. We'll see whether that's on the menu here for him. I haven't seen many players doing that, frankly. It'd be quite cool to see it employed by others as well.
I think it's nice because of the split spawn. Like, VortiX has his berries on the south side, his gold on the north. And that gold feels really far out there, to be honest with you. Maybe just a map perception, but yeah, you look pretty naked and exposed out in the open like this.
Yeah, School of Cav as well as Dome. Very soon to finish here for both players. You can see the delay here that's caused a little bit by the wheelbarrow, right? Yeah, the macro it's 4 on gold, right? Already up to 200. That's how you know. Yeah, this is definitely pro scouts. There's
He's
no
like
reason.
it's like there's no reason you wouldn't have like set the School of Cavalry to be a bit faster otherwise with the timing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ooh, another Pro Scouts game, guys. Been nerfed. So one night, and we should be seeing PS. And then that's where you lose like the tempo, right? Because then you've only got one night, so you're going into probably 2 to 3 extra scouts. Let's VortiX just open with Ghazi instead.
See the stable coming up. No surprises there at all. Gonna look to put on the pressure. VortiX actually does this very well, I find. He's able to really put the pressure onto knights with his Ghazis and then pull them back to heal. He's pretty much fearless when it comes to this, as we'd expect from a player like him who really relies on his mechanics to make a massive impact in the early game especially, and does so very well.
And well, this is the thing, right? Like, you know, the challenge with this now is because you don't have many knights, chivalry's not as advantageous early on. You mentioned the previous Delhi French game, I swear, like Ghazis just pull back, get healed, come back again, slowly grinding you down. So it does really put a lot of onus on Numudan to make sure his positioning is pristine and not overextending.
Three scouts on the field now ready for Numudan. 14 Q and a secondary knight. Do we have double stable, I wonder? That would make a lot of sense why we're queuing so much ahead of time. Oh no, you just preparing. That's fine. It's a bit old school. I know back, you know, before the first Pro Scout nerf, it was always double stable with French and JD. Because you could afford it, right? But not anymore.
I like the idea of him opting towards maybe like spears here. It's kind of underrated. But it's just going to be double stable. I think this is the thing. Like, you get gluttonous, right? Once you have Pro Scouts, you're like, I can afford every pony in the world. You just start spamming them non-stop. Even if it seems like a bad idea. You know how it works. If it looks like a bad idea, you just haven't invested enough yet.
It's
So
a little
crack
bit
open those 401ks. And do it.
Yeah. It's a little bit recessed, right? If he does go for the spears here. To compensate for your delay in knights. Like, you know, a handful of spears here definitely wouldn't go amiss, especially in that first skirmish for the sacred site, which is so crucial in determining the tempo from then on. That's not the case here for Numudan.
He's just trusting the walls. You know, like, it's a good spawn for it, in fairness, for Numudan. Like, the idea is pretty cool there. Not your classic V for victory walls necessarily, but, like, he can fully just lock himself against the edge of the map and then not really have to panic about it.
It's true. And Sanctity is now complete. The very first column makes its way to the left-hand side. Second one in the center. It's like the third one is on the way to the north, but Numudan is going to look to check that. 4 knights here. It's actually a really good count. And VortiX doesn't actually have enough here to contest. Although Numudan actually backs off a little prematurely, I want to say.
I think maybe he was worried about the Scholar healing Spearman, so changing the kill intervals. So he shows respect. Maybe a bit too much, considering VortiX is not. He goes for a double cap. Make it a triple.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly right. Like, in theory, both of these scholars on the side were easy pickings for Numudan. Obviously, you kind of don't expect the Delhi to greed like this. It's a bit uncommon against French especially. Typically, it's one side, maybe 2 at a time if you're feeling spicy, but VortiX just sends it.
Yep, he respects all the 401k, you know? Because at the end of the day, if someone's going to hit, you know, Numudan, he's just moving around with the knights as a full group. There's no split raiding potential here. Archers to follow up as well. I mean, the other problem is, like, Archers as a follow-up this early, like, it makes sense, but you're now going to move probably away from raiding more to a direct fight, which just kind of lets VortiX get away with the multi-sacred sites.
And already, with the very first Scholar move out, being triple capped against French, that really doesn't feel good if you're Numudan. There's decent value gained here. Idle time on the gold. Scouts going down as VortiX's own scout is about to, and a raid finds a villager and idle time.
Yeah, I love the minimal downtime, Numudan's like, all right, back at it straight away. The Spearman reaction catches a Knight. So equalizes the trade, gets some decent value out of it. And remember, it's that Sacred Site timer ticking. The gold that's ticking in with it. Because yes, Numudan's up by 5 workers, but he's being eclipsed by that gold income.
That's right. It's quite notable. The scholar production has been really heavily on the way for VortiX. Let's put a little stop to it now. Oh, as I say that, nicely done. Gets another one in queue. Numudan now pushing on the center side, but the Archmass is not quite there to where he feels comfortable fully standing his ground. We are in that
the stealth forest, right?
range.
Yeah, like he doesn't really see what's waiting there. Same both ways? Nah, VortiX got the scout, so he knows everything. Scholar's gonna get hit in the face though. That's kind of awkward because I think he only has the one here, so it's a bit more difficult to hang around with that lad now. But that's a lot of spin. Is he gonna bait him off it with the Ghazi? Yeah, he hits him first, so now the Knight, he's like, chill, I won that fight, and then surprise! Okay, it's small details like that, really, that made the difference. Like, Numudan would have guaranteed looked at that and went, oh, my Knight wins that, and then looked away.
Yeah. Classic, right? Oh, another one, you wonder, where's my Knight? What happened?
Well, how does a Ghazi beat a Knight? What the hell?
Don't worry about that. I'm sure it was the Scholar that made the difference, right? You think
Yeah,
so?
definitely, yeah. It's always the Scholar, you know? Because, like, what you do is when you lose against something, you look at what they have and you don't have, and you blame that. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, if I was, like, to get in a boxing match against someone who doesn't have fists and I lost them, I would highlight that was their advantage.
Wouldn't feel good, would it?
I mean, I think anything hitting you in the face doesn't feel good, but yeah, the shame of it. Anyway, we have got coming home.
I'll just switch for VortiX now, actually. So this is a bit of a sensitive position for Delhi at this stage in the game. It's a phase that you kind of have to go through if the archer count gets too big here for Numudan. I would say you need to have that tricol position, and then once you have the mass going, you can look to then take a fight and recapture those sites. We just have to relax a little bit until you actually do build up that mass. And it works out quite nicely with the timing, because as we see, Steel Darrow will be completing quite soon for VortiX as well as Numudan.
Yeah, the awkward thing's like VortiX, it doesn't feel like it's the quickest tech timings for him, right? Like, that's my worry here. He's gonna step up. Looks a bit gluttonous. Ghazi tried to bypass, but the whole Numudan perfectly positions the Knights to stop the Raiders. Backs up a little now. Some ground is being gained. Few Spearmen are leaking in, but they've been cleared. I mean, Numudan, he got rid of the biggest threat, and now Knights get to feast.
Beautiful positioning and engagement there by Numudan. Cleans up the entirety of the spear mass from VortiX. VortiX just jumping the gun, not realizing the timing disadvantage exactly as Numudan's Steel Arrow finishes, and VortiX is still some ways out.
It's the positioning more than anything else. Like, that Sacred Site sent him way too wide, and, you know, Numudan, like, at that point, you're running through an open field, unguarded, and there's no safety from this. Numuchad showing you why his French is to be feared. He will force that 5th game against VortiX.
And the APM tells the tale. In full control. The speed and pace and execution of Numudan looking stellar again in this game number 4. Evening out the series against none other than VortiX. Suddenly, the reverse sweep is a real possibility on our hands now. Numudan showing you exactly why this matchup favors the French. Now, without a sheep disadvantage like unfortunately Demu had in his last game, we can see the difference that it makes here.
It's just beautiful, clean execution, right? Like, you know, a few slip-ups, maybe one location like, oh, I lost a Knight here, or I let him get a worker kill, but, like, he always returned each blow that he took, right? He didn't let VortiX control the narrative at all. And it does mean that we're going to get that epic showdown on Coastal Cliffs to, like, round out the series with potentially new civs coming into the equation. But this fight, it was just so remarkably red. Like, the confidence, Numudan stood still. He didn't even risk charging in, which would have given him bonus damage. He didn't want to risk that because it might have opened up a gap for the Ghazi to get through. Perfect blockage there to get the win. Oh, it's a boring
It's
match.
very well played and executed. And it's
I'm
always
gutted.
such a great matchup to find. Got it? Why is
Yeah,
that?
like we had Lancaster, we had Macedonians, we had Sengoku, and we get Atri Ivans. Come on. Oh, come on.
Although I want to see this matchup, to be honest, because I find it's a really interesting one. I mean, who would you say is favored here?
It's like 55-45, right? I'd say like Atri used to have slight favorage. I think Ayu might now. I think Ayu's looking kind of better, especially with the Dervish build. Because I don't think Atri can stop them from just fast attacking. Because the Dervishes, like, they're so stupid.
Like I think if Ayubits has back gold, yeah, I don't think there's actually much HRE can do at all, frankly, to stop them. Specifically because, as you mentioned, the Dervishes combined with the back spawn, it's a lot. It's a lot. You don't really have the timing to actually get much damage done there as HRE, and if you just rush castle, you will get there first as HRE. That's true. You might even get 3 relics. That's true. But the economy for Iobids is actually going to be way stronger in that initial castle age phase, and it's going to be a free ramp up for them into their prime all-in timing with the lancers, with the archers, and God forbid manganese.
Yeah, I think it's also like the Desert Raider. Like, if you're going to fast castle HRE, I build 1 Desert Raider, 2 Dervishes, and I dive you. Because the heal is ridiculous. Like, you don't care. It offsets all damage, and it means that you have to scale to a point where you can eliminate a Dervish. That's really slow earlier on in the game. That's what allows the fast castle so freely. But I think that, by the way, like maybe that's why VortiX didn't want to get Macedonians, is he's worried about camels. Honestly, I don't know why you would be. Like, if you get Ridari online, Ridari bounces camels, even with the debuff, because that unit is probably the single most overtuned, unbugged unit of the expansion. But we won't get to it.
It does beat the camel lancers for sure.
Yeah.
But the
Except
Desert
for
Raiders are pretty special, frankly. I think that's a bit of a different story. We're going to have to see whether that's on the menu as well. Witnessing game number 5 here. And the nail biter is going to be undoubtedly as VortiX spawns in the north side of coastal cliffs in the color red as the Holy Roman Empire facing Numudan's Iobids in the color green, spawning in the south side of the map.
Oh, look at this spawn. Look at this spawn. Numudan got double Ford gold on top of each other. He's not
Against
gathering wood.
Spearman opener.
Yeah, and check his vision. I don't think he knows that both of his golds are on top of each other.
Oh.
Did he?
It's hard to tell, right?
Yeah,
Is it
he
the
would have had to
replay?
look
Like
straight away, I think.
Yeah.
But the problem with this is, like, you know, if you saw that your gold's like this, you might actually consider a rushed outpost, as wacky as that could be. He's not going to have it. And VortiX, I wonder, has he already scoured that side? Like, is there going to be a villager pool? Not yet. Just a spearman for now. But it's a jackpot. Like, you got to be smiling at this.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right? And I mean, I completely agree with you. I think an outpost rush here, it has fallen very much out of favor recently. Like, it's been a long time since we've seen an outpost rush. I mean, we see it sometimes, but it's not nearly as common as it was, even against very vulnerable civs like Byzantines and Malians. But this is the kind of spawn where it gains so much value, I think. And it's probably worth it right here.
Got to be contemplating it. I mean, he doesn't have the wood right now is the problem. He's just going to go for tech. He just switched over the mining camp. So, Numudan, he already gathered the gold he needs. He can reclaim this then. Like, so we're probably going to be looking at wood switch soon, archery range to start being prepped when he techs up. Loggy wing behind it. Like, this is the thing. Like, you could just go Desert Raider or Archer. Probably just go Archer because it's free Spearman. And a Desert Raider takes a long time to clear that.
Yeah, it's true. It would help. The delay is nice, for sure, here for Numudan. I wonder, what I'm really curious about is, are we going to see postcards from VortiX? Because I think that investment heavily affects the sort of window you have to deal damage here as HRE. Now, you're going to have great eco, of course, under the Archon Chapel, most likely, with the deer. But there's no real timing at all to find damage. So, it's a bit of a big sacrifice to make, and I'm tempted to say, especially with a back deer like that, that maybe it's better to just skip it.
No, I don't mind the idea. Like, it's interesting though, because like if VortiX goes him and Lucifron have always been big ardent believers in Ahan Chapel Pro Scouts. Like, really big believers in it. Even now, like even after the nerfs, I'm still seeing them do it all the time. And it is going to be the Ahan on the tree line. So I think we might be getting PS here, considering the amount of people he still has in gold.
Make sure you hide your kids' vision. You know, cover their eyes to not be able to see the placement of that Aachen Chapel.
I thought you were going to say hide your kid's deer, and I'm like, how rich are you that you can afford to own deers? Because he's coming for all of them. Every deer on the map, it's going to belong to VortiX. A deeropoly is about to occur.
It's still early to call, though, I think. Like, you know, it very well could be Pro Scouts, but you never know. You never know. I mean, I think it's probably prudent to skip it here specifically, but I mean, you know, I love my Pro Scout Aachen as well, but you know, I think
Nobody
is very
loves
matchup
it as
stuff.
much as VortiX Lucifron. It's still 4 on gold.
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's always the 4 on gold. You know? That tells you everything you need to know.
Too much of this guy, okay? I'm telling you, like, they're the only ones so ardently still going Pro Scouts on. And there's the archers, so expected outcome. I mean, this is where it's going to feel a little bit rough, though, compared to if you'd opened stables. This is kind of sucky for you, right? Like, VortiX knew that this had to be the reaction because he went spears. If it had been Cav, you're more worried about your Pro Scout timing, but this, you kind of laugh it off.
I'm almost tempted to say that it's worth it to force a bit of extra gold just for that Desert Raider initially, just so you can have the unit that you actually really want to have at this stage in time as Numudan. But of course, there's caveats to that. You know, slightly slower age up, and takes a while for the Desert Raider to actually produce compared to the Archer, so you're going to be back on gold a little bit later. It's probably fine.
Yeah, I wonder if he could have actually just like not needed to build the Archer at all, and VortiX would have just backed off when he saw the range. It's a bit of a gamble, but it might have been worth it just to save the resources and then get that Desert Raider like you talked about. But obviously, like, you have to wait. You're delayed getting the gold in the first place, and you know your opponent is either fast teching or greeding. We can see it is indeed going to be the greed of the feudal variety.
Yeah, Numudan not investing into any more here. Has he seen the stable yet? I don't think so. So he's just playing extra safe, which is quite common for Numudan. He's always very careful, very calculated. Very mini Marine Lord-esque, I want to say.
And that's why Marine Lord keeps complimenting him, saying he's like the threatening player. He's a little me. Of course he's good.
They really do play very similar, I find.
Yeah, agreed.
It does pay off indeed. Numudan going far here. So it's just going to be the archers. Actually, he's just going straight for castle.
I think it's too late to do anything about this. Like, even if you see his pro scouts, like, what are you going to do? You know, like, this is the dirty thing about HRE. They'll either stop lobbing up already, or they'll just go for castle. And it's very difficult to stop either of them with the pacing. Like, all they'd have to do is build an outpost on that gold, and he's kind of laughing at you.
And that's how you sort of give away your advantages, Ayubids, right? Like, if you actually start getting into these deeper feudal fights,
yeah.
I mean, HRE wins that every time, right? Let's be honest. It's just the way it goes. That economy is just so potent.
There's really not many players that like have played deep feudal Ayubids impressively in my eyes, because it's very hard to do. It's like at some point you're going to reach that point where you feel like you have to add in spearmen, and you have to make damn well certain it is good to switch spearmen, or you're just doing something that feels odd, right? Like, I don't think there's I'm trying to think if there's a civ in the game other than Ayubids that you're like, why am I building spears? I would expect a French player to build spears more than I'd expect an Ayubid player.
I can see it. There's cases, I think, but yeah, the point.
It feels very rare, though. Yeah, it's like weird because statistically it should be very good with the phalanx tech, and also wait.
You're seeing what I'm seeing.
He's been reading the Reddit threads.
I knew it. It's Tower of the Sultan again, man. Every time.
Yes, against mass horsemen, it is Tower of the Sultan. Damn, Myriad. This is why we bring you on.
Damn right.
It's free TC, of course. Come on, let's not be silly about this. What was the thread? Someone math
Puppy
this is
ball.
better than Growth Wing.
There's something to. I mean, I know Puppy Boy in particular, the Canadian brothers in general, but especially Puppy Boy I've seen do this. He's a big believer in the industry wing TC timing. You slap it down straight away. So much eco. But against what looks to be a very aggressive feeder from VortiX, that might be a bit scary. And the front gold detail is hurting right now.
And where else are we going to drop this TC if that's what it's meant to be? Because the berries, the deer, yep, they're pretty far out. They're pretty far away. Horsemen. Oh, they need to decide on a target together, okay? Unified front here, boys. Wait, that's a very bold target. You're not getting a dervish. Okay, this is like that when when I was a little kid, and my mom and dad were like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I was like, I want one of those baby-sized Ferraris," and like 3-1. You know, like asking to get a dervish kill is exactly that.
Yeah, good luck. Nice undermesh timing by VortiX. He could in theory... Well, no. I was gonna say he could in theory dive, but what are you diving, really? Nah.
Oh,
Not
no.
with the dervish.
We're diving, and we're debuffed, and they're healing.
Yeah.
Why have they got their knives
exactly.
out, and why are we losing? Yeah, it's... At this point, I think Prudence is like VortiX just try to control him in his base while prepping for castle. Possibility of a Burgrave build here. I doubt it. Like, just because Iabids is one of the hardest to do it against. But dive coming in. And hold. Shivs out, boys. AoE healing. What a drug.
Hold the line.
Where are the spearmen going? Oh, to the death as well. Like, wait. Archers, we can at least kill that. We got one worker. We've done it. The dive has been successful. We're definitely not losing to a camel that doesn't attack us. Focus fire. Gets another worker kill. It's a lot of idle time. He is lasting quite a long time here, though.
I want to say, like, 4 villages is decent, but what did you give up for this, right? Look at the destroyed value. I mean, how long does it take 4 villages to gather 2,000 res?
Let's find out.
Yeah.
All right, back on the gold. Would you like
40,
to dive us?
45 a minute. Maybe closer to 50 with golden age.
New move.
Oh, that's only 10%.
Please heal. Oh, God. Okay, that was a little bit of a slip up. He stayed pretty far back there, so workers... I don't want to say... Like, the weird thing is VortiX, he's just got 50% of the value of the previous dive with that little effort on the gold.
In exchange for nothing, actually, but a bit of damage on his units.
Yeah.
No other unit lost. It's funny how that happens. Numudan. Starting to get the relics. Very important, of course, up against the HRE. As VortiX is not far behind. So you can see the... Yeah, the Pro Scout, man. It's no joke. Here we go. Not far behind VortiX is, despite the immense investment into Feudal.
I mean, you said about, like, the difference in destroyed value, and this is the thing about Regnit's... Aachen Pro Scouts. He just has so much disposable income compared to IE. And what you're seeing is how this game began. Numudan is losing based on gold. He has a second TC coming in. He also doesn't have great food access. He's just sneaking berries through a wall right now. Like,
there it is. I told you.
Yeah. You told me. But now we're spending 2/3 of our food income on villagers. We have problems.
You know, once those relics are in, you know...
This relic right here, this one that's being guarded by a platoon of spearmen and horsemen, that relic?
Where there's a will, there's a way. We just have to pull the villages. With
where there's a will, there's a belief that someone's going to die, actually. I'll have you know.
Although, actually the singular prelate still for VortiX didn't train anymore, which is always a double-edged sword to do, right? Giving up a villager, doesn't feel good.
Archers. Boys, are we feeling ourselves a bit much here? Still a decent amount of horsemen. Just take the win that you're getting gold, right? Like, that's... Maybe don't overplay the hand. Wait, don't...
Careful.
We're playing with fire here, but the problem is he's now on the clock. Like, Castle has begun. It's HRE. This is now a relic race.
That it is. And we don't have the growth, right, for the extra food on the berries or the extra villages. I guess TC is kind of similar. Better for the long run, in a way.
Does burn on your food a bit harder. Yeah. It's That's always the challenge with these type of builds. Is like, you know, people are like, oh man, I just get the resources as built. Yes, but now you do have an upkeep. And that has kind of slowed down Numudan's skill into Camel Lancers in conjunction with the gold blocker.
Yeah, you can definitely tell it has, right? Like, the income is just not quite there. Obviously unable to move out onto those external berries at this point in time as well. Or that deer in the north. Which looks like VortiX is actually collecting by now, so that's a big detail here. VortiX is sticking to this full melee, which I think is actually really effective against Iobids. Kind of similar to Ottomans, you know, it's kind of tough to play range units against Iobids a lot of the time. Not only because of the Camel Lancers, but the potential for one of the best siege in the game, in my opinion. The Manjanique.
Ivan. A bit ambitious there. Realizes, oh, this is mostly just horsemen. He did miss an important detail, though. The Dervish, not past this force, just snatched the Central Relic. Final split, however, is still going to be good for VortiX. The 3-2. I wonder... Is VortiX... I wonder if he just tries to set up to dive at the back of the base. It's a little bit risky now that Camel Lancers could go and raid you.
Thing is, I feel like Numudan is going to need that secondary deer pack, and that second berries especially.
Yeah.
He can't just go directly into farms here, right? That sounds a bit crazy to me. But if VortiX is present enough in that area, Numudan might have to, and there might be a dive point in a minute or two or so for him. Once the blob gets too big.
Night Count is inflating fast. He's mirroring the Spinman alongside it. So Numudan, Otis is on him. The micro a lot harder here. Full mosh pit. Full chase. Workers don't know what they're doing here. Won't be here for long. One goes down, the rest have to shuffle away. Numudan, idled on gold. Holds the choke point. Wrap around the north though. He's trying to use his base to leverage an advantage with limited melee, but no dice. VortiX, he gets the pristine surround to hit the workers. Don't know where the hell they were going. Numu should stabilize, but that's the entire eco lead he just built up gone.
Eco lead is gone, but there's a good chunk of VortiX's army here, I have to say. And, you know, Numudan, plenty villages have went down. At the same time, as we... Okay, we're back.
We're moving at the speed of light, that's the problem. That's just that fast.
Indeed. Denied off the gold again. Villages went down, but scaling is still there, right? And
yeah, it felt avoidable for Numu, but the strat held, right? The debuff mattered a lot, the Spearman finned. However, VortiX has taken this opportunity to snatch those extra deer you mentioned. He's also locked in 2 sacred sites. Numudan, he may still be alive, but there is a concern you can only live in a corner so long. And again,
it's true.
Right? They've got entry here. The Camel Lancers, they didn't get in the position this time. So Raps onto the back archers. Spearman still chasing. Dervish, funnily enough, being ignored. Great micro there. Numudan noticing the over aggro. Stands his ground now, and that is going to be a forced retreat. Great handling the situation by Numu.
yeah, way better fight now for Numu than before. The sprinkled emplacement is in on the outpost as well. That's a big detail here. And VortiX, I don't think he can actually keep going like this.
No.
The mass is not there anymore. The scaling is not really there. We do have some farms under the Aachen, which is looking quite healthy. But yeah, Numudan feeling confident enough to actually move out onto the external berries at this point in time as well. And VortiX is going to look to make a switch. Veterancy on horsemen, as well as men-at-arms coming in with heavy maces.
So Spearman, Horseman, Men-at-Arms is now the big switch up. It's kind of crazy, actually. With his income, he could be an Imperial Age in a minute. But he doesn't trust what happens when you leave Ibids alone here.
Yeah,
So I guess... Is he maybe thinking about locking in the Sacred Sites then? Like, does that become his new win-con? Knights are going to find the workers. Cycle in for a few kills. Still neck and neck on eco count.
Honestly, though, the men-at-arms with horsemen, I feel like is, unironically, a better composition against what Numudan is building right now than knight as well as spearman. The heavy maces you know, they're good enough against knights, and camel lances, in terms of stats, are just weaker head on the knights. Of course, reliant on their charge. And the archers, of course, horsemen do better against them, technically, than knights do. There's a bonus damage, at least. But there's more ranged armor.
I do like that he's still got Spearman littered in here, though, because you have to remember Camel Lancers now do get stunned on charge. Right? Whereas before, sometimes it felt futile to build spears against Camel Lancers, weirdly enough, as they would always get their damage off. So nice that he's kind of littering it, and he's just kind of creating that awkward fight for Numu, where it's like, okay, do I go archers? Do I go crossbowmen? Now when I've got them, I'm going to have extra control groups, extra micro, and extra target fire. Otherwise, I'm just wasting DPS.
Still a firm control over these sacred sites VortiX has. All we need now is a few outposts to reinforce those positions further, but always a big investment. And not easy to get them up.
No, and we do have farms coming in. Like, this is sustained food income now. Like, I'm getting a bit worried that Numu might run out of wood before we can get farms for the line. And great raid out to the stone. Every single time, it looks like Numudan's about to have a worker lead. Every single time. VortiX does something. And he's doing it big. Are you kidding me? The horsemen come in on the other location too. Pinches them. More workers are scrambling in the area. What is going on?
That's a massive pick-off here for VortiX. Almost fully surrounds those villagers, but even with them able to escape, he kills so many. Yeah, he just cannot.
He has to get behind the wall because he has barely any front line. Like, mass horseman was clearly something Numu was not expecting.
There's a switch up, right? As we mentioned, the horsemen so much faster than the knights. Able to swell the numbers easier. Better against archers as well. And that men-at-arms spearman combination. Oh.
Mirad, look at the worker difference now. It was a difference of 1. Half a minute ago. This is ridiculous. VortiX showing you why his unbridled aggression is to be feared at all times.
It's true. Numudan, maybe regretting the industry ring now, potentially. I mean, it's that detail that we spoke of. It is the food at the end of the day, especially on this kind of a map. You don't have much space to work with, so if you're pushed off of food, there's not much you can work with, and VortiX smells blood in the water as the surround comes in. Range units and camel lancers push together. There's nothing left here.
He's pushed off the cliff. He's pushed off a coastal. He's pushed out the series. Numu came close, but could not end the Spaniard. VortiX with a 3-2 win, and one of the most aggressive HRE games you'll see.
Quite the fashion to finish it in. VortiX never taking his foot off the pedal pretty much this game. Only sometimes pressing the clutch to go in a higher gear. Picks up the win and secures himself the series. Very well fought by Numudan though, making it really competitive. Almost had that reverse sweep. I think Numudan can be proud of this performance. 2-3 up against someone like VortiX is, you know, definitely made him sweat. You never want to be on a decider game when you're in a position as someone like VortiX.
He definitely did not make it easy. Numudan showing you how he's been rising more and more caliber and skill as a player. Eco Wing, definitely an interesting experimentation, but VortiX, you know, he had you questioning it at points. Like, is this a good, like, this dive here? This looked so unnecessary that he somehow just decides double down afterwards, make it worthwhile. Just selecting those skills, but Numudan should be proud of the performance, like you said. Like, not just the fact that it was 3-2 in the end, but even in this game, there were fights where he outplayed VortiX. Like, there was a fight around the northwest side of this TC where his Dervish, when completely ignored, he kept it in range of healing, and he pulled a Lancer back and baited half of VortiX's Spearman to do nothing. It might have been like this dive or the one afterwards. So, you know, the small microscopic details like that, they matter a lot, because we just already said in this series that VortiX is a micro master. If you want to beat him in the long term, you need to be able to outplay him on the granular level.
It's very true. At the end of the day, it's the smallest of details building up over the course of a game that eke out those advantages in the long run and result in the better player winning vast majority of the time. And that has been the case here today. Numudan, I wonder really, if we just go classic here with the growth, I think we would see quite a different game on our hands. I feel like the industry wing, I spoke about it before. Obviously, I hyped it up just for the fun of it. It's definitely has potential. But on a map like this, it's difficult because of the food, right? It's not a bad idea, for sure. I've seen it work like magic before, but just it's tough, right? It's tough here in particular, especially against a Civ like HRE.
That's the fight I was talking about. Like, that one right there was a clear out micro by Numudan. He pulled the Spearman north, then just divulges them into the archers, pulls past with lancers, re-engages south side. Like, it's just small details like that you will need to beat the best players in the game. But VortiX, it's just shock and awe, man. Like, the understanding on this, the raw timing. I didn't check if he had military academy. I assume he did with how quick he got this army up. And from there was just no comeback. But Numudan, we'll see more of him. Of course, like, round robin group stage, so he's still got to play again and again.